All right, everybody, we're live out here in Kashmere Garden, baby. That's KG, baby. That's Kashmere Garden, baby. And Houston annexed Kashmere Garden in 1940, y'all. And when they annexed Kashmere Garden, it was for all whites. And then when they also annexed Kashmere Garden, they annexed the sister of Kashmere Garden, which was Trinity Garden, which was all black. But right now, we in Kashmere Garden, y'all. And the biggest main street out here in Kashmere Garden, quite natural, is Cavalcade, and then Hirsch Road. And we're just so honored because in the late 50s, blacks started moving out here in Kashmere Garden. And when they built Kashmere, the original Kashmere Garden Junior and Senior High School, it was on the corner of Hirsch and North Loop. They hadn't had no 610. That was the beginning of 610. And we're talking about 1959. In fact, it was in September 58 when they started letting blacks go into that school. And blacks had moved so much out here in Kashmere Garden where they had to send the school and give the school over to blacks. And it became the first black junior and senior high school out here in Kashmere Garden, and it was called Kashmere Garden Junior and Senior High School, and it was the corner of Hirsch and Kelly. And eventually, when integration came in, they gave a middle school and named that school Key Middle School. And they moved the new Kashmere Garden out there in Trinity Garden, and that was on the corner of Wallisville and Bennington. But they had to delete the name of Kashmere Garden because it was no longer in Kashmere Garden. It was in Trinity Garden. And then they changed the school colors, which used to be maroon and white, to now they changed it to red, white, and blue. But those things happen. Like I say, they're losing a lot of our black history. And first of all, I'd like to thank all of you guys who have been giving me all these good compliments. That's why I keep coming out here. And first of all, we like to thank the Covenant of Faith, because they the one that financially keep me able to come out here and do these things for you guys. So when you're thanking me, thank Covenant of Faith United Methodist Church, where the pastor is Pastor Luther Walker. That's my family, y'all. Those are the people that help put these videos together. They help financially because I'm not getting anybody to contribute to it, but God is good. I'm so blessed for Covenant of Faith and Pastor Luther and the family over there, Brother Glenn Burnhill and his wife, Miss Cindy. Also for the First Lady of the church, Miss Rudine. She went to Kashmere School out here, y'all. That's right. She graduated from Kashmere. She was here when the school was turned over to blacks. And when they turned the school over to blacks, most of the people came from Booker T. When you're thanking me sometime, give some thanks out to Covenant of Faith United Methodist Church, because they the one help financially me as far as my gas concerned, as far as my equipment concerned. They the one that helps me. So I want to give that shout out to you guys. And I'm not expecting you guys to help me because I realize people on fixed income, and God is still making a way. And as long as God make a way, it don't make no difference. At the end of the day, it's getting done. And that's all that we are about, making sure it's getting done. And again, this is also used to be Wildcat Company, you know, until blacks, and they gave the school over to blacks out there at Kashmere Garden. But before they gave the school out to blacks out here in Kashmere, all the blacks that lived out here in Kashmere Garden in the 50s, when they first moved out here, when blacks started moving out here, and even the blacks that lived out in Trinity Garden, for 8 years in the 50s, they had to go to right here, Phyllis Wheatley on Market Street. So this is still Wildcat territory, y'all. You know, we went through all the Wildcat territory from Clinton Park to Pleasantville to City Gas. And now we out here in Kashmere Garden, which if you look at all for 20 years, from 19, listen to what I'm saying, y'all, this history. For 20 years, Kashmere Garden Junior High and Senior High School, along with Phyllis Wheatley, had won a total of 17 state championships. You hear me? 17 in the last 20 years, from 1950 all the way to you might as well say 1970s. Because in the 50s, it was all Phyllis Wheatley, Wildcats basketball. And then in the late 60s, when Kashmere integrated, when Kashmere opened the doors for blacks, Kashmere, a lot of guys from Kashmere didn't want to go to Wheatley. They wanted to make their own territory. And that's when the Kashmere Garden Rams came in and they won 3 state championships. But basketball is where it's all at out here. That's why you see a Lakers champion, Northside, Kashmere Garden, 5th Ward, Phyllis Wheatley, all champions. Because at one time out of 20-something years, they went 17 years a state championship. That's strong, y'all. 2 main drag streets out here in Kashmere Garden was going to be Cavalcade and also Hirsch Road. You know, and Hirsch Road is the one that led into the new black high school that they built for whites out here in 1957, but whites did not want the school because so many blacks were moving in the neighborhood of Kashmere Garden, so they gave the school to blacks, and it became Kashmere Garden Junior and Senior High School. And later on, when integration came, they built a new Kashmere school out there in Trinity Garden and turned the original Kashmere Garden Junior and Senior High School into Francis Key Junior High School. And that's the history, y'all, on the Kashmere Rams. They changed the color from maroon and white to red, white, and blue. You know, and that was one of the things that they, again, politics played a lot of part in that. But anyway, it is what it is. And like I say, they're trying to do away with all black history. Okay, we're gonna turn right here on this street called Huntington. Huntington gonna lead us right back in to Cavalcade. And as you can see, there's a bike trail and a walk trail right there out here in Kashmere Garden for the people out here in Kashmere Garden in case they want to exercise. Again, a lot of thanks going out to our county commissioner, because he's the county commissioner out here, Mr. Rodney Ellis. You know, that's one of his pet peeves, these bike trails and these walkaways for exercise for the people who live out here in Kashmere Garden. You know, that's the reason why we're gonna turn left here on Cavalcade, you guys. And we right down the street to a real popular little nightclub back in the day, and still probably popping. It's called Mr. A's. And right now we going down to Cavalcade, and we're going down Cavalcade to the main drag strip, which would be Hirsch Road. And we're gonna go down Hirsch Road, y'all, to North Loop. And we're live right here in Kashmere Garden. Thank you, Facebook family, for all the support you guys are giving me. And right up here at this red light should be Hirsch Road. And then after Hirsch Road, the next main drag strip with the red light would be Lockwood. And right now we're going to turn left on Hirsch Road and going towards the original Kashmere Garden High School, which was on the corner Hirsch Road and 610. Over there is a bus barn, but that used to be McDay Elementary School. And when the whites moved out, they gave McDay Elementary School to blacks, and they also gave Kashmere School to blacks. And Kashmere was the only HISD school that was named after a community. And it is the only one. Bel Air is named after a city. But Kashmere Garden Junior and Senior High School right on this corner was named after the community. And as we go over here to, now as you can see up there on that bridge, when you cross over that bridge, you're in Hirsch Road. You in Trinity Garden. And right here was North Loop. And when they finished 610, and on this side of North Loop was called Kelly. But when they finished 610, they no longer used North Loop. They used Kelly for both sides of the boulevard. and we're going live, y'all. We're going into the famous spot of Trinity Garden. And like I say, once we cross over this bridge, it used to be a railroad track. Remember, they used to tell you what separated the blacks from the white was a railroad track. Well, this used to be and still a railroad track, but they built a bridge up here now for now, so it won't hog up the traffic. And Lord knows I've been caught on this traffic here a bunch of times, you guys, back in the day selling bread out here. So yeah, it was well appreciated when they built this bridge here, because you could be on that train could be on that track all up to 30 minutes. I seen it stay up there on the train track for 45 minutes, y'all. And right now we are now crossing into Trinity Garden, and the main drag strips out here in Trinity Garden are quite natural. Is Hirsch Road, and there's Bennington. And Bennington is one of the main drag strips that runs the same way as Kelly and Cavalcade. And right now we're going to turn here on this street here called Carto. That's the name of the street. We're going to turn here on Carto, and we're going to go all the way back down Carto, because we want to go down to Bennington. Bennington was a main drag strip back in the day. Man, a lot of nightclubs and it was thumping back in the day over here in Trinity Garden. You know, Bennington was the place you wanted to come if you wanted to come out here in Trinity Garden to party, y'all. But all of this here is part of Trinity Garden, y'all. See how big those lots are? See how big those lots are? So look at them. See, those lots are big. These lots are big because, like I say, all these people used to grow their own vegetables. They used to have gardens, all that. See how big that lot is over there? See how large those lots are? Because all these people raised their own food out here. Back in the 30s and the 20s, before Houston annexed all of this stuff back here, man, all this was blacks, and they used to own their own food. Pecan trees, even young people, even in the 50s and the 60s can remember pecan trees, pear trees, apple. They didn't have apples, but they had oranges. They had a lot of things, and also and one thing good about Trinity Garden I always remembered is they used to have the best and the sweetest watermelon you ever wanted to go. You would have people from Hempstead coming to Trinity Garden to get watermelons, y'all. Believe that or not. Yes. See how deep those lots are? And this is Bennington, y'all. We're going down Bennington till we get to a street called Lockwood. And these are the main drags. As I come down here on Bennington, and we're getting ready to cross here, used to be a little store called Sonny Yick, and also used to be a man who used to have a barbecue stand here called Mr. Stoneham. All of this is part of Trinity Garden, you guys. And Trinity Garden is one of the richest black communities that they annexed in the 40s. See, they didn't annex Acres Home until the 60s. They didn't annex Sunnyside until the 50s. But they annexed Trinity Garden and Kashmere Garden in the 40s. And when they annexed it, that means they got city water, city garbage disposal, and they don't have to worry about outhouses. And they ain't got to worry about wells, because the city of Houston provide that. And they ain't got to worry about trying to buy no kerosene lights and buy no whole bunch of wood, because the city of Houston provided all of that. And as you go down, we turn there on Lockwood here, and we're going here to Shreveport. And then from now, child, this is part of Trinity Garden, yo, you guys. You seen Kashmere Garden, now you're getting ready to see Trinity Garden. And Trinity Garden is one of the richest black communities. Now, this have always been originally black. Always. That's always the reason why I separated the track. And over there, we're gonna go by the new Kashmere High School, which is the Kashmere Rams now. Remember I told you they're not Kashmere Garden no more. They're just simply called Kashmere Rams. And we're live. And right here, we're gonna turn here on this street here. It should be Wallyville. And we're gonna turn right here on Wallyville. Welcome to Kashmere Senior High School. And when they built this, it was a senior high school because they made the original Kashmere into a junior high school, which later on they started calling it a middle school. But this is the Kashmere Rams, the home of Kashmere Stage Band and Conrad Johnson.